Rao, like always, a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Mateen. It's very nice to meet you again. It is, we have been working together for some time, but it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Yes.
Thank you. So, Rao, you have been a tech enthusiast for a long time. You have been at a senior position at Adobe more recently. What I wanted to, last time when we met, we talked about FinOps. But the current interest where you are focused is on GPUs and how to optimize GPUs so we can reduce the consumption, reduce the spend. You were just giving an example. Healthcare is a huge space, and even 1% savings amounts to multi-million dollars. So similarly in this space, that's where you're trying to work and see how you can reduce the consumption and save money. So let's spend the next minute or so to understand how you're doing that.
Yeah. So essentially, so if we were to kind of focus a little bit on the GPU side of it. So the way we were actually using the CPUs for any sort of like computing the tasks. Now GPUs are core for the any of these artificial intelligence related tasks. Now especially with the Gen AI, we have number of companies including Adobe. They are big into generative AI. Essentially, actually, even Adobe is one of the pioneers of the Gen AI with the Firefly product. So with that, the GPU consumption has become a critical thing. That's because what happens is that now we have market pressure. So where you are trying to kind of innovate, and then from the growth standpoint also. So as a result, so then you have to quickly start training the models, and then also kind of quickly bring up those models to the market. So what that means is that there will be some amount of inefficiency that comes in place. That's obvious. That's because developers, as a result, they will not be more and more focused on the efficiency side. They are more focused on the innovation side of the things. So it kind of you can't really create any guardrails or roadblocks for them. You can to some extent put a governance in place, but you don't want to come in the way of their innovation path. So as a result, so then you will see some of the inefficiency creeping in. It's not intentional, but I think it will come up as a result of the fast-paced nature of the work. So this is where our work comes in. So we have been actually focused on the previously. Hey, how do we make sure that the CPU consumption gets reduced? Now, in the similar way, we are kind of shifting our focus onto the GPU because that's single biggest or the majority of the spend is focused on the GPU side of it. So that's how we kind of started focusing on our effort. But I think this is a slightly different animal compared to the CPU consumption because the GPU architecture is complex, and certainly it is not similar to the CPU in a way, but it is similar to CPU. So you can have some sort of similar techniques of what you used for CPU consumption for optimization that works. But you will also need to understand a little bit more, and now the different type of GPUs, NVIDIA released, Blackwell, and similarly, that becomes a challenge.
I want to drastically shift the focus from technology to personal well-being. When you are done with all the heat of GPUs and the intense rigor of working for small or big tech company, especially dealing with AI, somewhere I think personally for all of us, no matter what level you work, you have to find a balance and feel grounded and feel relevant to nature. Otherwise, it's just a superficial world we create, and then we keep on going, in an infinity loop without finding the real purpose. So as entrepreneurs, when we find a purpose to take a company from point A to point Z, in our life we have to, every so often recalibrate ourselves. And on that front, you have always been very, focused on personal health and empowering other people to focus on personal health. And you lead very good sessions during the conference as well. So you went on a fabulous journey to Mount Kailash. It is exhilarating personally, but I think if you look at from the worldview, it is recalibrating yourself. So share with us what it meant for you.
Yes, I think in Silicon Valley we are running at 100 miles per hour always, not literally physically, but I think mentally. I think as a result, like you kind of, I think at some point of time everyone has to step back and then kind of look at the personal side of this thing. As such, kind of, I've been pretty health conscious, and I focus more on the positive side of the health. But I think what I thought was that again I had my own personal thing also, because both my parents passed away during COVID, and then since when I've been contemplating about what's a life is about, right? And kind of that introspection is really helpful. And then I thought, like, okay, let me take a spiritual journey, and that's when me and my wife, we both decided that we should actually kind of take a trip to kind of Himalayas. And this is where the Mount Kailash is, it both the spiritually as well as physically enabling. It kind of helps you, because you have to be physically thinking about yourself and as well as mentally preparing too. So because especially when you are going up to 18,500 feet elevation, and you have to be both prepared, in both sides. So that's how I think it's a 52 kilometers in 3 days, that trek, and it was a good transformation in the sense, like, both physically as well as kind of the way you think about the life. And I think it is kind of helpful, and then give you different perspective as such. And you are kind of, you can still be the karma yogi, and you do day-to-day work, but then there is nothing to really lose, or nothing to hold on to. You don't need to hold on to anything. So I think that's the different perspective that we can bring to ourselves. So that's what that's one of the significant things that we think about it. So our intentional, right? So everybody says that oh yes, I have this, once I achieve this, I think the next level is it's okay. But that's not, and it's a rat race, right? Once you achieve this, then you have to go to the next thing. So it will be never ending. Even after you do all of this, still you are in rat race. But I think what you are trying to do here is that, okay, so you have to do it, because you are in samsara, because you have to kind of pay the bills, and you have to take care of the family and all of that. You do that, all of that, but without getting attached to the things. Okay, so that's the kind of mind shift.
I want you to now come back from Mount Kailash to the reality of Silicon Valley, and one of the other good ways where you give back to the community is through your organization, IITBAA Alumni Association, and this beautiful conference that you host every year, along with other fellow board members and tons of volunteers who come together. So it is not an easy task. It is a labor of love. So share with us this year's journey to put this conference together.
Yeah. So I think we have been doing this, at least I have been on the board for 5 years. This is my 5th year, and then I think except for 1 year in between where the COVID couple of years, and 1 year we conducted virtually, and then 1 year is when we cancelled that because of that. But other than that, I think we have seen a progressive improvement. We are learning the things, and one of the things though is that the hard part is kind of bringing that together. But once you kind of see this kind of the audience and then the folks coming around and then appreciating, I mean, that's kind of your effort, it's a fruitful. So that's, I think, I find I kind of all of my board members, I hope I can speak all of my board members, we have put in a lot of work, and then behind the scenes there is a lot goes on, what it meets the eye. So but I think at the end of the day, when we look at this, so I think okay, so we forget all of those efforts and then think that okay, so our efforts are come to fruition. Yeah.
Absolutely, it has come to fruition. It's been another great one. But it's been my pleasure to be part of this process. And thank you, Rao, for coming and sharing your thoughts like always. Really appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Mateen, again. Again, you have been the crucial part of our effort here. Again, the success, you are a part of the success story as well. Thank you. Thank you.